to the 2023 Individual Artist Award celebration. My name is Alex McKay. I'm the Vice President of Strategies and Initiatives at the Rasmuson Foundation. I'm so happy to be here to welcome you all here this evening, and thank you to Program Officer Enzina Marari for welcoming those of you joining us virtually. The impact of the Individual Artist Award stretches all across Alaska, and in a few minutes you'll meet the brilliant artists, their work, the makers, the culture bearers that enrich our state. I'm so proud every day to have been raised in this young state on these ancient lands of the Alaska Native Nations. We're celebrating here tonight in Anchorage, the traditional homeland of the Eklutna Dena'ina people. The artists we are celebrating tonight really reflect the richness of our complicated, diverse, and beautiful cultures we enjoy here in Alaska. With me are many staff members who make the program possible. In particular, we have our President and CEO, Gretchen Guess, here in the front, our board chair, Adam Gibbons, and we also have Natasha von Imhoff and Curtis McQueen, who are board members who are here with us tonight. So the Rasmuson Foundation provides grants throughout the state really to make life better for Alaskans. We believe that arts are an indispensable part of what makes life rich. This year marks the 20 years of the commitment to artists and creative Alaskans throughout the state. So since 2004, the Individual Artist Award celebration has been a high point of the year, really one of our favorite times of year. It's a time we get to really step back and wonder at really all of the amazing things that happen here. What we do is we don't actually make the decisions. It would be too hard. You know, we have relationships here. All of us are just, you know, 1 degree of separation apart. We bring together an international panel of artists and art leaders who convene and they review and select the artists you meet tonight. And when you sit in on the review of it, it's really fascinating. We are underestimated, and then they leave amazed, really, at what's happening here in Alaska. And we really do a lot of outreach to reach all parts of Alaska to make sure people know about the opportunity. But there's no geographic criteria or requirement, and yet there are artist award winners here from every part of the state. It's kind of amazing just how that really works out. I want to talk about the kinds of awards briefly. 35 awards were given. 25 of them are $10,000 project awards for short-term projects that artists are working on and for ongoing development of their work. These awards are available across all disciplines that are possible under the program, and it represents a diversity of artistic voices, from emerging artists, new in the craft, to more seasoned artists with lifelong experience. 10 $25,000 fellowships were granted for artists working in the more advanced stages of their career. You really focus on their energy and attention on their craft for a year, and it includes 2 ensemble awards, which is a relatively new category for us. This could involve traveling to another country to really train with somebody about a specific part of their craft. It's really pretty amazing, and you'll see in the video we're going to show shortly. This year, the fellowships are not every year across all disciplines. This year, they were awarded in dance choreography, crafts, folk and traditional arts, literary arts, script works, and performance arts. In addition, all of the awardees are participate in ongoing professional development and support. We have an incredible partnership with the Anchorage Museum, and there are kind of seminars and classes and get-togethers throughout the year to really help artists develop their craft more and really to convene with each other. Tonight, there are beautiful necklaces around the necks of the award winners. Every year, the foundation commissions an Alaskan artist to create these presentation necklaces for award recipients. Kenneth White, a 2021 fellowship recipient who's from Ketchikan and Saxman, created the necklaces this year, so thank you, Kenneth. So take a look at them. Yeah, they're really pretty spectacular. So artists are really important in a community. They reflect and honor our many cultures and identities. They tell truths, some hard, some beautiful, some just insightful or unique. And they also share visions and create visions of what can be. And it really, when you see the breadth of what you're going to see in this video, I think you're going to take as much pride as we do in this place we call home. We're proud to recognize all of you awardees here tonight. You're some of the most creative people in the state. You inspire all of us. So please, as we tee up the video, help me welcome the 2023 individual artists.
piece of these stones. Flesh on my bone for the paradise. Leave me alone, all these parasites. How many songs with this spare life? We cannot grow when the air strikes.
When people hear my music, I want them to know that it's authentic, it's coming from a life lived and not just like a show. I don't consider myself an entertainer, but like a storyteller, someone who is showing authenticity through lyricism, you know, and through music.
An oil field, this land is our home. This land ain't an oil field, this land is our home. Wild and amazing, the animals roam. This land ain't an oil field, this land is our home.
The idea that somebody else has written something that has changed me has made me want to put my work out into the world. Maybe somebody else will feel changed or moved or understood as well.
I am Kanashtukta Danainek, She Ishla Idlan, Dene Ishlan Shida. I'm Annie Winstrip. I am Denaina at the Baskin. My home is Yaganen, the good land. My home was born inside a salmon's belly.
The elders that are becoming elders today, now they're the ones that went to the boarding schools. That changed the whole culture.
I feel like as an Indigenous person, we have yet to receive an apology. Like an actual apology.
Yeah, the community building aspect of writing is super important to me and is why I, put my work into the world. But like for me at the core, writing is always like a way for me to process my experiences through my body.
I mean, a lot of times we talk about how our art isn't just art for art's sake. It's really a documentation of our history and our identity. And I think it's really a chance for, us as Native artists to write our history from our perspective.
How can we talk about these things that are affecting all of us in society without participating in them? So this is, as I'm saying, there's a lot of participation in it, and I think this play, at least where I wanted to go, I wanted to break that fourth wall. It's where it becomes a moment, it's a conversation with the audience.
Thanks, everyone. Now I'd like to introduce the fourth generation of Rasmussens who are really contributing to Alaska, our board chair, Adam Gibbons.
Thanks, everyone. It's just great to be here tonight. My good friend and former colleague on the board of Rasmuson Foundation and Tlingit leader Anthony Malott once told me that it's okay to go through a bit of an arc of a story in traditional Tlingit culture. So if you'll indulge me for a moment. Before the magazine, The New Yorker declared unceremoniously this year in what was for me a traumatizing article entitled "The End of the English Major." There were a few of us in college who read plays and books written by dead Western white men. Even if one were only half paying attention in class, and let's be honest, half was a stretch, there were certain metaphors that one would pick up in class that stuck with you. One such metaphor that harks back to at least ancient Greece was that of the Fates, who were often depicted as weavers of one's destiny. The three sisters who were the Fates and their weaving would pop up in stories for centuries in Western culture, including in a book known as the Bible, Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream, Macbeth, of course, and perhaps most famously in Charles Dickens's A Tale of Two Cities, where Dickens' character, Madame Defarge, literally knit in her murderous web the names of those in the French upper class who were bound for their death in the Revolution. Since these weavers could metaphorically and literally cut the cords of one's life, my simple but strong takeaway was always this: I don't care what culture you're talking about, don't mess with weavers. Don't mess with master weavers. So with that, it actually is with great trepidation that I introduce this evening, or this year's, Rasmuson Distinguished Artist. Anna Brown Ehlers has been teaching and demonstrating Chilkat weaving for more than 3 decades. She was born into the whale house, her ancestry deeply rooted in Klukwan, Alaska. And if you haven't been, go. I felt like a Trump moment. Go, sorry. It's an amazing, amazing village. An ancient Tlingit village historically known for Chilkat weaving. As a Chilkat weaver, Anna continues this ancient and exemplified form of art valued by her Tlingit peoples and other indigenous tribes of the Pacific Northwest. Her weaving began with an apprenticeship under master weaver Jenny Thulnat. Am I doing that okay? Did I pronounce okay? I tried. A close friend of her grandmother, Mary's, and a 1986 NEA National Heritage Fellow. And as many of you know, the inspiration for the Rasmuson Artist Awards really came out of the challenges that the NEA Artist Awards were going through in the 80s and 90s. So that's a great, again, weaving link. Eller spent months working one-on-one with Thunat, learning the spiritual practices and technical methods of weaving. She teaches others in the master-apprentice tradition. And if you haven't met Christine, I just did tonight, who is learning from Anna Brown in Hawaii, this amazing tradition, you get the sense of how important it is to her to spread this knowledge among those ready to learn. This process of master apprenticeship includes gathering and processing materials. She's been demonstrating Chilkat weaving since 1984, when she appeared at the Smithsonian Folklife Festival with Jenny, her friend, in Washington, D.C. Her designs, colors, and techniques are often traditional, but her innovations include the incorporation of 14-karat gold wire into her weavings based on a dream vision, the use of silk fibers, and the execution of the largest Chilkat robe ever made. The weaving is 8 feet wide and 7 feet high and depicts a form-line crest killer whale at the scale of the actual newborn animal. And for anyone who's read the paper today, we know that that was the slimmed down version of Anna Brown's vision for that amazing weaving. In the service of others, Anna has been recognized with an array of prestigious awards, grants, fellowships, honors, including the 2017 National Endowment for the Arts National Heritage Fellow, 2001 First Peoples Fund Community Spirit Award, the 2006 United States Artist Award, Artist Fellow, and 2006 Alaska Governor's Native Artist Award. I mean, it goes on and on. In 2023, the University of Alaska Southeast honored Ehlers with an honorary doctorate of fine arts for her significant and lasting contribution to the university and to the state of Alaska, and frankly, to the world.
My name is Centine, and I was named after Mildred Sparks, who was the matron of the whale house up in Klukwan. When I was 4, Alaska became a state. Mom dressed us up in our 4th of July clothes and took us all down. I saw my dad's brother, Roy. You know, that's the first time I saw a Chilkat blanket. You know, when I saw the smooth, graceful movement of the fringe, I knew that's all I wanted to do when I grew up, but I didn't tell anybody for 20 years. So I was working up at the Senate for Senator Frank Ferguson from Kotzebue, and we were invited to a cocktail reception up at John Sackett's, and John was from Ruby. You know, there were indigenous people that were powerful in the House and the Senate. John Sackett said to me, he said, Anna, I love having you work for us, but I feel like there's something else in your future. Like, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to make Chilkat blankets. The next day I went to work and Frank Ferguson took me into the office, which he never did. I never got singled out. And he said, John told me that you want to do this artwork. What's it going to take? And I told him. I said, it's going to take a year to learn. And he said, well, write me up a position paper. And he put it into the reappropriation bill. They called it the Christmas tree bill back in those days. And then I got a phone call and Governor Jay Hammond had signed the bill in the summertime. That's how I got started. So I just quit my job. And it was really hard to get that income up, but I was like, well, it's now or never. I started under the apprenticeship of Jenny Clenot up in Cluckwan. And Jenny was mean. She would like pinch my arm when I was weaving and like kick my shin under the table and things like that and take it out, do it again. But, you know, I enjoyed it. She was a walk in the park after my dad, you know, who was a sergeant in the military for 12 years during the Second World War. She was like my grandparents, you know, she was my grandparents' generation. And our grandparents only spoke Tlingit to us in the home. And, you know, of course, our parents were punished when they, you know, spoke Tlingit in school. And so they didn't teach us because they didn't want us to suffer like they did. That's all she spoke to me. And I would audio tape her, and then I'd bring the cassette tapes back to Juneau, and my dad would translate for me. You know, I was being taught how to do it, but it just came so naturally. It was as if I'd already always done it because I'd wanted to do it for so long. I got the design of the woodworm woman from Steve Brown. He's just an exemplary carver. And he did a lot of totem poles around Juneau with my brother Nathan Jackson. And he would do my designs. So a couple months later, I went back up there and I had completely finished that tunic. She was pretty tickled, you know, and I finally got her approval. She said, "You're just like me. You're just like me." You know, that's the only thing she said in English. And since then, I mean, I've taught over 300 people. I never thought I would be honored by the university. My granddaughter calls me Dr. Grandma now. I have pieces, you know, in France and Germany, Japan, and I'm just finishing a restoration now from a blanket from 1890. You know, I've made tunics, headbands, blankets, dance leggings, bibs, purses. My dad calls them money bags, aprons, put deer hooves on the bottom and they go clack, clack, clack. The first thing we do is collect the yellow cedar bark, and we do that in the springtime. We go to the south side of the tree. We look for the same things that totem pole carvers look for. We want a straight grain and not too many branches. But we only take one strip off of each tree. 2 or 3 or 4 years, it'll grow back. We cut it till it's paper thin, and after it's paper thin, then we make strips out of it. Then we spin 2 strands of mountain goat wool and 2 strands of yellow cedar bark together. So it's months and months and months of preparation, and you just discipline yourself. I mean, after preparing all the yellow cedar bark and spinning the wool, you know, it's like a party when you finally get to weave. And it takes about maybe 4 or 5 months to spin enough for a blanket. For instance, the killer whale blanket that's here at the museum, it was 8 feet wide and 7 feet high, and it took me 8,000 hours to weave that. Nobody does this by themselves. I mean, my children have always helped me, and my husband's helped me. I couldn't have done all of this weaving, you know, by myself. Oral history tells us that the Tsimshians were the first ones to make the chokat blankets. It was called nachin, which means fringe about the body. The designs on the chokat blankets say, well, you're eagle, you're raven, you're from the whale house, you're from the killer whale fin house up in Cluckwan. And the designs are totemic. They're an outward description of who we are. I think they're meant to be used. They're not just meant to be left on a wall. Concept of atu, every time you bring out your artifacts or your regalia, it gains in cultural value, but they call it bringing it out, and that's when it's presented to the world. It holds everybody up that's in that clan. In the old days, the chocat blankets were put on the grave houses to go with their owners, and they would just stay there, you know. And at some point, they started cutting up the chocat blankets and giving them away at the potlatches. Same as in the days of old, it's honoring the person that's gone. And so we had my daughter's potlatch last May of 2022, and I cut up a weaving and gave that to 8 people at the doings. Not everybody does that, but our family does.
Well, thank you, Rasmuson Foundation, your panelists and staff, for honoring me with this award. As I said, I couldn't have accomplished what I have done without my daughters and my grandchildren. It's a lot of work, and it's been a privilege to share our culture with the world. And we stand on the shoulders of the people who have come before us and kept this art alive. The totem pole carvers, the jewelry makers, people who make these fine artifacts. I'm very, very happy to represent our culture. I was lucky to be born in this state, in the place I was, at the time I was, when there were only several chocat weavers left. So I was lucky enough to start with Jenny Thanot, my sister-in-law, Dorica Jackson, who is my brother Nathan Jackson's wife, and she had studied with Bill Holm down in the University of Washington. So 4 weavers had studied with Bill Holm, and Dorica Jackson really delved into the art form, and she made a blanket over there, that's in Sitka, and she started to teach me, and then I went on up to Cluckwan with Jenny, and she was 92 when I started with her, so I was very lucky, you know, to capture the essence of the craft, and it's been a pleasure and an honor to represent our people, because we stand on the shoulders of all the people that came before us and kept all of the culture alive, not, you know, the language, the arts, the crafts, not to mention the foods, you know, sovereignty, you know, we all learned how to smoke salmon, and we carry on with all of the traditional art forms that we can. Thank you.
Okay, don't mess with the weavers. Next up, I get the pleasure of introducing our no longer new, but relatively new President and CEO, Gretchen Guest, to the stage. Gretchen, please.
Good evening, and just wow, what a joy it is to be here and to meet you all. As Alex mentioned, we aren't part of the decision-making. And so this, for many of us on staff, is the first time we get to see the art of the awardees, and it's such a blessing. To all of you that are artists out there, I wanted to first thank you for what you do. As Alex said, you tell our stories. You also tell stories that we didn't know to us. You open our eyes and our hearts and our brains to what we don't know, we haven't thought of, we've never really thought of in quite that way. And we are blessed because of each of you and everyone that ventures into the arts. As you heard, this year is our 20 year of the IA program. It's a wonderful anniversary year. There have been over 660 artists who have received a Rasmuson Award over the last 20 years. It also marks, at this 20 years, a commitment that the foundation has made to the arts. We have awarded approximately $90 million of grants to the arts in the last 20 years. From the individual artist awards to arts in schools, from museums to the Sitka Fine Arts Camp. I would say that the arts and our commitment to the arts is one of many, but probably the most prominent legacy of Elmer and Ed and Kathy Rasmuson. So to celebrate their legacy and our 20th anniversary, we asked this year's recipients to answer the question, what do we need to create more of? And here's what they said.
Let's create more connections, understanding, and community through art.
Let's create more attention to the world.
Let's create more Alaskan stories. Let's create more Alaskan plays. Let's create more Alaskan narratives, more Alaskan good times and adventures, and just let's create more Alaskan.
Let's create more safe spaces for the heart to thrive.
Let's create more access.
Let's create more stories that are powerful and deep, that promote community, conversation, and safe spaces for everyone.
To me, art is everything. When I create qasbaqs and traditional Yupik wear, I am connected with my grandmothers, my aunties, my great-grandmothers, and it's not just in art form, but it's reconnecting to with who I am, where I come from, and those strong women who have walked before me. Art is not just a form of creation, it is a way of reconnecting with who I am as a Yupik person.
Let's create more community. Let's create more conversation. Let's create more opportunity for underrepresented artists.
Let's create more cultural enrichment programs that reflect the diversity of our beautiful state of Alaska.
So we're nearing the end of our program, although we welcome you to stay. We're joined by special guest, Shlong Looney, featuring 2021 Project Award recipient Polly Andrews, who will help create more harmony. Shangluni is a group of Alaska Native performers who share indigenous creative expression through the oral traditions of song, drum, and mask dancing. They're originally from Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta region. The group consists of Napigiuk, Apayuk, and Kiturogia, who weave together Yupik and Kupik ancestral songs and contemporary components in their performance arts today. Welcome, Shangluni. In just a minute.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, Waka. Gasadun Atcha Polly Andrews, Juхдun Atcha Napiryuk, Ilanka Jufagamyungut. What I shared was my English name is Polly, my Chupik name is Napiryuk. It means to sharpen. And I'm Chupik from the village of Chivak. And we're here to share a song with everyone, but first I want to just say a huge thank you to Rasmuson Foundation for this invitation today. I'm a 2021 artist recipient, Individual Artist Award recipient, and since receiving that award, I've been able to grow as an artist and build partnerships, connect with other people, and walk into spaces and opportunities that I otherwise would not have been able to grow as an artist had it not been for this award and this opportunity. And also, Rasmuson Foundation was a part of this group that formed here, but a big thank you to Rasmuson Foundation. And what I notice is the beautiful, diverse representation of people here. Yes. And I see that, I see the diversity, I see the indigenous people here, and I just want to say, brown pride with sea oil on the side. Congratulations to all the recipients of this year. It's such a beautiful thing to celebrate. And so this song, this is a group, we call ourselves Slangluni, which means to become aware. And we are Yupik and Chupik from the YK Delta. As I mentioned, I'm Chupik from Chivak. This is Gituralga Michael Ulran from Chivak, one of the singers and drummers. Apayak Andrew Weaver from Alaganak, also a singer. And missing today is our masked dancer, Kelsey, who flew home today to Bethel, but her Yupik name is Juhun. And she's from Yupik from Bethel. And we love to share Yupik and Chupik songs, dances, and stories and mask dancing, really as a way to express our pride as Yupik and Chupik people. And this song that we're going to share is called Nita Kama Hui. And what it means is when I hear the voices of my ancestors, it's beautiful and it gives me flight. And this song was gifted to us by Asi Gayarayok. He is the song composer. He's one of the awardees of today. We want to welcome Asi to be our masked dancer. Nita kama hui, haye 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 yaha, nita kama hui, haye 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 yaha. Nunanik wachtak wani lachtat. Haye 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 ya, haye haye ya, haye haye ya, haye haye ya. Dungog shoslu. Nita kama hui, haye 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 yaha. Nita kama hui, haye Nunanik wachtar huwani lachtar. Hey yeah 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 yeah. Đừng ngờ cho lu ye khay ay kina imna yuk malingal re kina imna yuk malingal re na bao nani yuji gu hey yeah 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 hey yeah 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 kayu yuluni Kayuri yuluni Dinga, 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 Congratulations, everybody. Stay native.
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. My name is Monica Terrones, and I'm the events manager at Rasmuson Foundation, and it is an honor to have you all here. So I'm sure you guys know, an event like this just doesn't happen. We have a whole crew, months and months, and it is an honor to be able to plan this for everyone. So I just want to take a little bit of time to thank everyone. It's particularly our Zoom participants. Please give them a shout out. And Zena, our host online, she's very passionate about this project, so it's great to have her be with us. DJ George, providing our tunes tonight. Northern Lights Sound and Audio, please thank them for everything that you're seeing. They're providing the video. Willowa, of course, and the staff that allowed us to come here at 8 in the morning and set everything up. Bach Transportation, the Hotel Captain Cook, of course, the Rasmussen Foundation and all our staff. It really takes all of us to put this all together. So thank you so much, everyone.
And I also want to thank Monica, who really is the mastermind. So I had to do that. So thank you.
And our host, Alex. So have a good time. George is going to play some tunes.
Oh, actually, one more thing I'd love to do. I'm interrupting and changing the program. Would all of the award winners please stand up if you're not already standing? I want to give all of you another round of applause. I don't know if we've really seen you all since the beginning. So congratulations.